Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back once again to another episode of Gaming Nonsense, episode 6 coming at you. As always, co-host Theodore Carlisle Cossack, good old dear friend over there, Mr. Avery Fair. How's it going, amigo?
Going great, friend. How you doing?
I'm alive. You know, I didn't have work today. It's a Friday. It's a holiday weekend. It's a good time to be alive.
Must feel nice.
It must feel nice. Right off the bat, we are going to switch things up a bit this episode. We're not going to talk about video games, even though I promised at the end of our last episode we would be Gamescom debriefing. To be totally honest, there wasn't too much that we wanted to talk about, and you can go read somebody else's articles, catch-up videos if you wanted to. We kind of talked about a lot of the main stuff coming out of the Microsoft conference, I think. So,
yeah.
Instead of that, we are going to jump into something gaming related, a little wordplay.
It has the word game in it.
We're going to talk about Game of Thrones. So, spoiler alert off the front, coming at you. Do not watch this in bitch if you haven't watched the show yet. We're going to be probably talking mostly about the last season, but we're going to go through kind of, favorite parts from the whole show, and we got a little bit of what is it called? The chronological order of the events that have happened throughout the series. So
just a bit.
We're going to talk about that for about the next half hour. If you're here for video games, come back next time. And until then, we're going to hop on into it. So I do want to start with you, friend, considering you just stormed your way through about the last 3 or 4 seasons, trying to catch back up to everybody. So
it was all a blur. I mean,
let's just overview. What's your Game of Thrones kind of watching history been like?
I mean, I remember back when it first came out, I watched the first probably 3 seasons of it, and then once the Red Wedding happened, I kind of just lost desire to watch it because a lot of people's favorite characters just got obliterated in one scene.
Yep, fuck those people.
And so I stopped after season 3, and then I picked it right back up a couple weeks ago. I believe the second week of August or so, and I restarted at season 4 because again I still knew what everything kind of happened in the first 3 seasons, and I didn't realize that right where I left off was where Joffrey died.
Yeah.
And so I just thought, well, that kind of sucks because I just stopped watching right when shit started getting interesting again.
If you would have kept watching, I know.
Yeah. So when I started about a few weeks ago, so disclaimer, I already knew most of the big spoilers going into these upcoming seasons other than season 7.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of interesting for me to watch it kind of unfold while I knew where the show was going to. Mm-hmm. And with this type of show, I mean, it's different for you because you have been watching it each and every week, and so you kind of have to wait, each week for that, and then wait a whole year, even more for the show to come back. And so, when we were going through some of these events, everything was so fresh in my mind, and it was nice to just burn through them and just how everything lines up so perfectly with each other.
Yeah, the only difference is because you didn't have to deal with a lot of cliffhangers and stuff that I and a lot of other people that were watching it live did. Which good and bad in a way. Good, you could just freaking go to the next episode in the HBO app, whereas we had to wait a year at some points, especially with Jon Snow got just absolutely destroyed by the Night's Watch and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you mentioned it, so I was trying to think about it actually. I either started watching live every week starting in season 2 or season 3. I can't quite tell based on the release date of season 2 being in 2012, which is when I first watched it. So I can't really remember, but either way, ever since then, it's been every single week watching it week by week, which is good. I never read any of the books. I know you didn't read any of the books, so
I don't read.
Yeah, we're on a level playing field there. But yeah, man, it's this last season was interesting. There's only one more left. The last season, season 7, just ended last Sunday on the 27th. So it was a shorter-ish season. We'll talk about the season a little bit. The next season, season 8, nobody really knows when it's going to come out. So, a lot of people are saying 2019, which is probably quite realistic considering I'm expecting The last season we already know has been confirmed to be only 6 episodes, probably long episodes would be my guess, just because they got so much to finish. I'm expecting 1.5 hours, 2 hours for every episode, probably. Like short movies almost, to be honest. Yeah. And that's going to take a while to just film and all the post-production stuff, I'm sure. So, I don't know. It's going to be a while. Either, a year and a half probably is what I'm thinking. So, we'll see. It's a ways out there. But in general, off the bat, the easy question, or not necessarily easy, do you have, a favorite moment? Maybe we'll just the entire show, big picture. Favorite moment, favorite episode from the show before we kind of dive into last season, some of the other seasons in particular.
Going over some of my notes, there's a lot of moments that kind of stand out throughout the course of the show, but I think watching Tommen calmly walk off of that window was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It like you said about using the GIF.
Yeah.
And seeing that, it doesn't beat that.
No.
He just calmly, and the camera was still there. He walks away, puts his crown down, and just come back and just, boop.
Yeah. No, it's that was fantastic. I was laughing so hard when that happened.
And again, so like I said, I know a lot of the spoilers, and so I didn't know he would die in that fashion. I actually thought that he was gonna die in the huge explosion that Cersei planned.
Yeah.
And when I saw that he was still in the Red Keep, I was wondering, okay, so when is he going to kick the can? But
didn't take very long. That happened pretty quickly there.
Yeah. So I think that'll probably be that's up there.
Yeah. I don't even know how I'd pick one. There's just so many. It's like it's one of those things people always not complain, but it's like, oh, you killed off my favorite character. Honestly, I think that's part of what makes the show so good. Is they have no fear to kill off, villains or heroes, not just the villains per se. Keeps you on edge a little bit, which is cool. But yeah, that Tommen scene, classic, and probably one of my favorite Twitter gifs of all time, easily. What about the most recent season overall? I just watched it and finished live. I know you were trying to catch up, but didn't quite happen in time, and you just finished it, this week.
Yeah.
How do you feel about where it left off and what it got through, considering there's only one season left?
So when I started season 7, like I said, a lot of things were happening that I already knew about. Jon Snow meeting Daenerys. That was pretty cool, finally seeing them together and everything. How Daenerys finally made her way across to Westeros, and she had, her fleet of Dothraki, the Unsullied, her dragons, and and I liked how finally everybody was just starting to come together, like how Daenerys had the old lady Tyrell, she had the Dornish woman, she had the Greyjoys, and Jon Snow was there, and so it was pretty cool to see all these, and Tyrion, it was pretty cool to see all these major characters finally be together in one room and start strategizing towards a common goal.
Right.
And so I thought that was really cool how that happened. And, when the season started, Cersei was fucking up Daenerys' armies a lot. Daenerys and Tyrion plan to take Castle Rock, but while they're doing that, Jaime is destroying Highgarden and messes up Lady Tyrell.
Lady Tyrell gets the poison.
Yeah, and while that's happening, Euron Greyjoy goes and takes down Theon and his sister and captures the Dornish women and takes them back to Cersei. And so, it's not looking good for Daenerys right off the bat. But and then that's when things really take a turn for the worst, when the White Walkers start making their way north, and Jon Snow is more preoccupied with that because he knows what they're capable of.
Right.
And so it was really cool once he went back up north, and that's when they had their own little mega group up there with the Hound and Jorah and those other dudes that I completely forgot about until they came back. The worshippers of the Lord of the Light or
Lord
whatever.
of the Light guys, yeah.
Yeah. And so they were over there, and the White Walkers came out of nowhere, and then luckily they got that raven up back to Daenerys, and she came flying in, and oh man, that dragon got fucked up.
Yeah, dude. Back to more Twitter gifs. The gif of the Night King just throwing javelin at the Olympics.
There was,
that's so funny. And then,
the day that Madden 18 came out, EA posted that Twitter picture of the Night King on the cover of Madden, like this.
Oh, I didn't see it.
They said like 99 accuracy.
That's funny. Yeah, people were going ham about that. I mean, it was good. The only that build up was good. There are definitely some things like you were talking about, all the characters coming together, which had to happen sooner rather than later, because I mean, what you think by the time we got to season 7, which we just watched, there was around 60-ish hours of Game of Thrones already out there from seasons 1 to 6, generally. And that's 60 hours of all these different storylines, and not everybody being totally separate storylines, but there's probably 5 or 6 or 7 distinct storylines going on that entire time, and new ones entering and others departing as people get killed off. And it's the first time really the show or like the series itself has brought people together. Like all these people you'd expect eventually to come together. It took a long time to get there though. Yeah. It feels good. I know some people were talking about how we'll talk about in a second, the Jon Snow and Daenerys situation is a little bit of fan service because people were wanting that to happen for a few seasons now. Well, they got that. And
they got it one way or another.
They got it one way or another. But I mean, and I get people saying, maybe it wasn't as creative or unique in that regard, but I don't know where else they were going to go, honestly. It was kind of the only path forward I saw to begin with, so I can't complain. The only thing that I have started to notice, which hopefully doesn't happen in the last season, which is why I'm expecting there to be longer episodes, is just the sense of time has started to fall away a little bit. Like when he was running, you mentioned to get the Raven out to Daenerys, it was like he was there in 2 seconds. Which I can't I mean, I don't personally care. Well, I know a lot of people, again, out there kind of picked at that, but it's like, dude, they've had this show on for 60 hours. They've got 8 episodes or 9 episodes left of the entire show at that point. They can't just sit there for 4 episodes and let him run back and forth. I mean, you got to move it along.
I'm actually glad that they're starting to do that now. I mean, like you said, with season 7, I mean, wasn't it during season 7 when they announced that they were going to end at 8?
I don't know if it was I don't know if it was after season 6 or during. I think it was after season 6. They said there's only 2 more seasons.
Because I mean, like you said, there's been this many episodes, and now it's like, okay, we need to get this shit done.
Yeah.
And so now they need to just expedite the process a little bit and just kind of cut this wasted time of traveling. And when you're watching a show of dragons, fucking Night Kings turning dragons into zombie dragons, I mean, the sense of time is the last thing I'm going to worry about.
I'm not bothered by it.
Oh wait, she got to one side of the country and another in the span of 30 seconds. I don't care.
I think people are just bringing it up because the way that the show's been produced historically, it's been pretty. I mean, great. It's a fantasy show. Obviously, I'm not going to say it's accurate. That would be fake news. But it's generally the way that they shot it. Things happen, in ways that make sense, and time periods actually elapse for the most part. And I think it's the first time that people have noticed they had to go away from kind of that strict staying to how things would actually be timeline, which. Fine, I get it, but at the same time, come on now, they got to get going with it. So
and I mean, and then I just mentioned, but I mean, another huge thing was seeing the Army of the Dead pull that dragon out of the water, and it's kind of I mean, they're fucked. I mean, there's no way they can win. I mean, they have a zombie dragon. It just demolished the wall. I don't care what happens. They're all dead.
Yeah. We'll see. I know people are nitpicking too. How did they get that dragon out of the water since none of them can touch the water in theory?
Yeah, well, don't care. DGAF.
I'm over it at this point, let's be honest. So, then obviously this season, I mean, that's just a few things that happened during the season. And the season ended with, a little private time. And a bit more information.
Jamie and Danny not Jamie. Whoa, John and Danny had sex.
Jamie's just getting it on with everybody.
Season 8 spoiler.
So
Jamie Lannister and Danny.
You get to see a little Jon Snow, Kit Harington, just booty right on the screen. I mean, can't complain. He's got a nice firm buttocks.
Can't complain.
But so that they finally kind of came out and through. Sam talking to Bran, and Bran doing kind of his little three-eyed raven situation, looking back in the past and seeing what actually happened.
Bran's weird.
Bran,
He's a weird dude.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But they finally kind of put the theory, I guess, that they hinted at or kind of briefed a little bit earlier. We were looking it up in season 5 or 6 when Bran had his first kind of glimpse.
It was 6, right before Hodor got fucked up.
That's right. So right when oh god, R.I.P. When he started to kind of figure out that Jon might not actually be a bastard and blah blah blah, and they kind of confirmed that in this final last episode as he and Daenerys were getting it on in the sheets. So that makes more incest going on, because Daenerys would be his aunt. So there you go.
Yeah, which again, I mean, they look like she looks younger than him, half the age. I mean, I was just telling you before that. So Rhaegar is her brother, but again, from season 1, he looks like he's 20 something, and I don't know. What happens at that age? Like
maybe he moisturizes well. You don't know. You don't know him.
That's true. They look like they have very soft skin.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then the show kind of ended, right, for the season. The White Walkers breaking through the wall with the big fatty dragon, just tearing that thing down. Had been standing for however many thousands of years and just gone. And,
just like that.
And they're in. So Sansa and Arya up in Winterfell are about to get it, essentially. And we'll see what happens. I know that's when they ended. Jon and Dany were going up that way too on the boat, I think. And then Jaime rode off and gave Cersei the big FU, going up to meet them. In theory, we don't really know for sure, but we're assuming he's going up there.
You would like to think,
yeah. So we'll see. I think they're gonna have to get into the fighting pretty damn fast the next season. I'm expecting the first episode fully to be when the conflict with the White Walkers start. I think they just got to get to it. They can't delay anymore.
So. What they're the White Walkers will be at Winterfell, or they're going to intercept them before Winterfell.
They'll be human beings will be fighting the White Walkers in mass quantities in episode 1. That's my prediction. So, well, I mean, we'll see what happens. We can talk about it now, and then we'll go talk about some of our other favorite parts from the show earlier before. But just looking forward to season 8 a little bit. We already mentioned 2019, maybe the end of 2018. Nobody's really sure. Hopefully, we'll get a release date soonish. Since everybody's kind of on edge now, waiting, and there's no book out, nobody can read ahead and cheat, and we're just stuck, essentially.
Yep,
so
this is it.
Maybe there'll be more leaks, and HBO will lose the scripts or something. We'll see. But, I mean, looking forward, there was an interesting theory I want to bring up that you actually told me about, which I have since adopted as my own theory for how this shindig comes to an end.
It's mine now.
It's mine. This is mine. Which I quite liked a lot. The theory of Jaime going... Maybe you can explain it. You can explain a little bit if you want to.
So I was reading about this, and they were saying that, I don't know if you remember back in, I would assume it would be season 3, I don't know, maybe 2, but Joffrey and Jaime were talking and going through this big-ass book of all of the King's Guards and stuff and what accomplishments they've made in their lives.
I think it was season 3.
And, Joffrey, being the little bitch that he is, was... making fun of Jaime about how he hasn't done anything. All he's done was kill, the Mad King. Other than that, he's pretty much worthless.
Yeah.
So they think that Jaime may actually be the one that ends up fighting the Night King and killing him instead of Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Because Jaime feels like, okay, he needs to kind of... This will be his mark on the world. And... it looked like at the end of season 7, he's kind of had enough of Cersei's shit.
Yeah.
And was just like, I don't know how you can lie about fighting them. Like, you're now pregnant again, and all these, they're all going to come down here. Like, it doesn't matter whether you take all of those properties back from Daenerys and Westeros. Like, we're going to get fucked anyway.
Yep.
So, like you said, he pieced out, and... hopefully I mean that'd be pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of Jaime. I like him a lot.
He's a good character. So I like that theory. I like that theory a lot. I don't know. I mean, I was just thinking about it more. I don't know. Jon killing. It's not even his real name anymore. I don't even know the guy. Jon killing the Night King.
Who am I?
My life's a lie. Jon killing the Night King. It just seems so straightforward. Too straightforward for Game of Thrones, which is why I think when you texted that to me the other day, I was like, ooh. I like that. I like that a lot. I don't know who ends up on the throne. The easy answer would be Jon or Daenerys, right? But I don't think both of them will make it through the season. I think one or the other is going to die, potentially. and long shot, but maybe if Jon or something dies, Daenerys goes and lives in Winterfell and takes over that because that's where he would have wanted to be, and then maybe Tyrion takes the throne.
I mean, remember at the end of season 7, Tyrion kept on asking Daenerys, like, all right, so who's going to be your heir? Like,
I know. Or maybe Dany dies and then Tyrion is his heir, or her heir.
Right.
Oh,
and
daddy.
Another thing was, I forgot, but yeah, that's a good one that Tyrion would do. Oh, I remember. So what's the deal with Bran now? Because Bran, at first I was thinking that, I showed you the picture that they kind of look alike, but
the Night King.
There was an interview with the actor for Bran, and he was saying, again, I don't know how much to believe this, but he said that he is not the Night King, basically. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, okay, I guess we might look alike. But that's the thing. It's like, so let's just say he's not the Night King then. What is he? Like, I understand that you can see, everything. But
he's sorry, go
ahead. I read somewhere where it's like, so you know how he can literally see like almost like the entire past of everything, right?
Yeah.
But it just takes him a while to get through everything. And so someone was saying that essentially he's going to eventually stumble upon a major weakness to fight the White Walkers. Mm-hmm. And so basically that's when he kind of becomes important again, where he discovers a way to defeat them, or he discovers something about them, whereas that he's going to be able to assist them in their fight against the dead.
Yeah, I don't know where or how I see him playing into the last season. I like that though, but he's got to have. I'm assuming him to have more of a substantial role than he's had at least last 2 seasons for sure. He's just got to. He's just hanging around there. He's got to do something, right?
Right.
So,
I mean, up to this point, I don't know
what the right answer is, but he'll be important. I have a feeling.
Yeah, up to this point, the only thing he's contributed is the fact that Jon Snow is not Jon Snow, and like you said, everything's a lie.
And he killed Hodor, so.
Yeah, he's the reason Hodor's dead.
He absolutely is. You're totally right. And I'd like to see Sam do something important too.
Speaking of Sam, so he doesn't know yet that his family was just burned and destroyed by Daenerys.
Yeah,
so
the dragon just lit him up.
It's gonna be like, Jon, WTF? Like, how are you gonna be with her? She just destroyed everything.
Yeah, but he didn't really like his family that much, anyways, did he?
Well, no, but his house is destroyed.
Yeah.
His father's dead. What was his brother? Was that his brother? Dickon?
Yeah, it was Dickon. Yeah.
Was it Rickon? No, it's Dickon.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Long ass wait. I don't really know what I'm going to do until then. Just forget anything happened. Try to keep it out of my mind and wait for the season, I guess. I don't know. If the book comes out, which I don't think it's supposed to, I'll definitely read the book ahead of time because I know that the endings are the same.
You can.
George R. R. Martin's has been working with the writers, I guess. So at least it comes to a conclusion in a similar way. The books are going to come to a conclusion, but it's in between that's different in the next season, and then what happened in season 7 because I wasn't in the books either. So,
is there only one book left?
I don't know, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. I honestly have no idea. I love reading, buddy. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways. I mean, we have a whole bunch of notes here, which I've totally been ignoring about what the key plot lines from seasons 4 through 7, for the most part. We've been referencing a lot of the old stuff, but we haven't explicitly talked about it. I mean, just as we read through this, are there any... I don't know if we need to go season by season, but any particular points in the show that you liked or disliked or, whatever?
Let's see. Season 4 was going great until...
By the way, we started season 4 because that's where you just pick up the show again. 1 through 3, we were a little bit too lazy to go back and rewrite out what happened to all those, except for Jaime and Cersei had incest sex again. So there's that.
You just need to know that, and Ned Stark got his head cut off and shit. But season 4 was going great until Buddy Avery, what a good friend he is, ruined the Oberyn mountain fight. So that was really great.
I forgot that was ruined for you.
Yeah, so that was...
Oh, my God.
I mean, like, I had a feeling...
When he gets his head squished?
Yeah, like, I had a feeling the Mountain's going to win anyway, just because he's a kind of important character and stuff, but I was just... whatever. Again, I knew about Tyrion killing Tywin. Season 5...
Tyrion went ham that season. He killed Tywin.
He did.
And then he killed... whatever her name was, Shay. his prostitute girlfriend, lover, woman. And then Joffrey's death was pretty cool too. I like that episode.
That's right. That was nice.
When he got poisoned later found by Lady Tyrell, not by Tyrion, obviously. So,
and that was a huge spoiler that I told you about. That I already knew that she was the one that ended up killing him. So, when what was season 7 when she revealed that, tell Cersei it was me. I already
after
knew
she
that.
took the poison, when Jaime gave her the poison, she told him. Yeah,
so
that's a way to go out. That's for sure.
Right. And then season 5. I mean, the whole High Sparrow thing, like, it really didn't do much for me.
It wasn't my favorite plotline either.
It was just a waste of my time, to be honest. You know, the whole wildling shit happening again. Like, I understand the whole discourse against the wildlings, but you know, I think some of the people in Castle Black were being a little overboard with that, especially when Jon Snow got fucked up in the end.
Yo, do you know he in real life dates the wildling girl that he was hooking up with?
Oh, really? The redhead? Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Yep. So, fun fact for you there.
And then, Stannis got his ass beat down. And that was one thing I hated, that, you know, there's like, you know, a shitload of battle scenes and whatever, but the Stannis fight was just a cut scene. It was just like cut.
Yeah.
Like, they drew their swords and then it went black and then they were all fucked up. They're all dead.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it happens. And then, you know, season 6, Sansa escapes Winterfell after she marries, you know, Ramsay.
Well, season 5, Jon got the wiener at the end.
Right, he got
repeatedly over and over in and out of his body.
And once again, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I just didn't know when.
I don't know how you would have not known that was going to happen, though. Like, that.
Right.
That's probably, like, the hardest spoiler to ignore, or, like, to have avoided so far for the entire show.
So. But that's a good example of what you said about the benefit of me binge watching it, because
you got to watch the next episode.
Yeah, he comes back, I think episode 2 or 3 he comes back in season 6. And so in 3 hours I was there.
I had to wait like, I think there was a long break between those seasons too. I had to wait like a year and a half rather than just a year, I think.
Yeah.
Or me personally, everybody had to wait a season and a half. So
and then in 6, like I said, the big things were Jon Snow coming back, Hodor dying, and that was... And
people were hyped up about Hodor, too. Like, that hit people pretty hard.
When he died, that was one of the things I was thinking about with Bran. I thought that... So, Bran, when he was, like, in between present and in the past, and so he kept hearing, like, the lady yelling at Hodor to hold the door, and then that's when the child Hodor was... you know, started seizuring.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking, like, I wonder if Bran, you know, is, like, the reason that this is all happening. Because he's literally, like, he's in every single point in time.
Yeah.
And it's like, what if he's... That's why I thought he was the Night King. He's manipulating everything.
Yep.
But that was a high point. And then, again... when Cersei destroys the castle, or not the castle, the church. At the end, again, I knew that was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to be the very beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
Because one of those things on Twitter, you know, it's better when Titanic music.
Oh, yeah.
And they have that.
That's funny.
And so that was cool. And then, again, Tommen. And now the Battle of the Bastards, I thought that was really cool. When
that was sick. The way that they filmed that and produced that was awesome. That was really cool.
Jon versus Ramsay. That was epic.
And fuck Ramsay, so it all worked out. Ramsay, I might have hated Ramsay more than Joffrey. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. They're pretty close.
I think I'd hate Joffrey more.
But that was a uniquely shot big battle, which was pretty cool to see. So.
And then again at the end when Dany's finally making her way to Westeros, I thought that was pretty cool just because it's kind of symbolic of how far the show has come. Like, ever since the beginning, you know, she's been on a quest to make it to Westeros and to cross the sea. And so to actually see her do that, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. And it all brought us to where we are now.
Yeah.
So, now, it's one of those shows, though, I tell people, like, oh, you know, like, even my mom, who's trying to catch up, she's in season, like, 3 or something. But it's just one of those shows where she finds she has to rewatch a lot of episodes. I'm like, you can't really I know you multitask, but you can't multitask to the degree where you're paying less than, like, 50% attention. You're just going to have no idea what's going on. There's so many storylines.
Yeah.
And it's a beautifully shot show, so the more you
Yeah.
can actually watch it and just sit there and be in it, the better.
Right.
In my opinion, at least. So, I don't know, man. Pretty pumped for the last season. We'll
Yeah,
see what happens.
I mean, overall, I think it's a good show. I'm not like, completely blown away by the whole thing. Like, it's good drama, good story, good plot, good characters. I mean, I think it's a solid 8.5 out of 10 or something like that.
It's probably
9 pretty high, but
it's probably. I mean, it's in its own genre compared to some of the other shows that I would consider like my favorite shows of all time. Things
Right.
like Entourage or whatever, which is HBO also, but it's probably my favorite kind of drama fantasy focused show I've ever watched on TV for TV specifically.
Like I will say that I'm glad that I went back and watched everything just to say that like I have watched it.
Yeah.
Because I think it is one of those shows where, I mean, unless you really don't like these types of shows, like the fantasy and stuff, I do think it's one of those shows where it's like you kind of should watch.
Yeah,
I think. And
well,
so
it's definitely the most popular show on TV right now, easily.
Right.
And there's going to be a whole bunch of offshoots and stuff, similar to how Disney's doing with Star Wars. I'm expecting there to be plenty of other series. I don't know if it's going to be through HBO or whatever, little spin-offs and stuff. So they're going to milk it for sure. Well, cool. I mean, I think that's about it. We're trying to wrap this up somewhat quickly because I got places to be. Look at me. And the next episode, maybe we'll be back to games. Maybe we won't. I don't know what the next episode topic's going to be. We got to talk about that, but it will be in Phoenix. So I'll see you in a couple days, buddy.
I know what it's going to be about.
Huh. Oh, Destiny 2. That's stupid of me.
Boo!
So Destiny 2 does come out in the middle of the week. We'll be playing that for sure. I actually downloaded the COD World War II beta also. I got to play a little bit of that just so I can talk about it. And yeah, looking forward to Destiny, man.
Yeah.
It's about to consume.
I haven't really been playing Zelda that much. I don't know, like, I'm not that, like, I think it's a good game, but it's nowhere near as high for me as everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
well,
all right.
You're an idiot, so that's probably why. I'm just kidding. I haven't even played it, so we'll see. We'll talk about that more next week, though. When we get into Destiny and stuff, we'll debrief more on Zelda, and maybe you'll have more progress, but then maybe you won't. Maybe you'll quit altogether, and I'll have your Switch, buddy. You're just going to give that to me to borrow for a while? Hello?
All right, so that might wrap us up.
All right, wrapping up. You got anything else going on until next episode? Just kind of hanging out?
Yeah, doing a whole lot of nothing.
Cool. Then I'm coming out, and I'll see you in a couple days, buddy.
Wait, I did watch The Defenders, Marvel's Defenders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to write up something for that.
On www.coffeescorner.com.
Yep, there it is. And good show. Iron Fist blows, but I think a lot of people already knew that.
Yeah, I had heard that.
But yeah, anyway, if you're into Marvel, I'd check it out. It's a pretty good show.
Cool.
I liked it.
I'm probably not going to do anything until Destiny comes out, to be totally honest. So that's where I am. Destiny's going to start to consume. And we'll pick that up probably in about a week from now.
You got it.
So until then, buddy, enjoy work. Have a good time. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We will catch you next time for episode 7. Back to gaming. Little brief pause here to talk about Game of Thrones because you kind of have to talk about Game of Thrones. And we'll be back to gaming next episode. So thanks for watching. We will catch you in a little bit. Peace out, everybody.